I saw That's My Boy, which is a movie starring Adam Sandler. And it may be the worst movie I've ever seen in my whole life.
Got me a gift? An earring. But I don't have a pierced ear. Yeah. Oh, God. Am I bleeding?
I don't think so.
Every Adam Sandler movie at this point, I swear, is a new thesis statement of how not to do a movie. It's shocking that Adam Sandler continues to get money for these types of scripts. This script is an absolute abomination. I can't express enough how revolting and vile this particular script is. Now, you have other Adam Sandler movies that are terrible in their own way. Jack and Jill is terrible because they didn't have a story. It is just Adam Sandler doing an impression of a girl and then being himself. And then there's ad placement and products, and that's the whole movie. It's dreadful. And then there's movies like Going Overboard that are hyper low budget, and they forgot lenses, and they're shooting on an actual cruise ship, and it's just a nightmare of production. But That's My Boy has a fundamentally flawed script, because let me tell you, the story here is absolutely disgusting. The main thrust of the story is quite literally pedophilia and statutory. I'm not kidding. The main story kicks off, the first scene of the movie is Adam Sandler, who is not Adam Sandler. The kid that they cast is just blatantly would not grow up to be Adam Sandler, but okay. He hits on his teacher, and then his teacher says, you gotta go to detention. And then when they're in detention, the first thing the teacher does is goes up to him and like unbuttons her shirt and shows him her titties, and then walks him into the back room, and you hear like, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh. And I went, this is not real, right? This is not happening?
Is this really happening?
This is happening.
And then there's a scene when the whole school's in an auditorium, and you hear that again, oh yeah, oh. And they undo the curtains, and mini Adam Sandler is having sex with his teacher on a piano on the stage of their auditorium. Who thought this was okay? Now, obviously, the statutory is horrific and should not have been greenlit in the first place, but not only that, this teacher and this student may be the dumbest people on the planet, and they kind of play into that a little bit, but who in their right mind, especially a teacher who's trying to hold their job down, would go on stage to have sex with a student while there is an assembly going on? That doesn't even make any sense. A statutory aside. That doesn't make any sense. So she goes to prison, and then this kid gets famous off of having sex with his teacher. And the whole movie is everybody telling him, like, good job, you did it. You had sex with your teacher. You're a cool guy. And I was like, no.
The fact that this has resulted in a pregnancy leaves me no choice but to levy the maximum penalty.
Take care of our baby, Donnie!
Dumbass.
Hooking up with a teacher would be like the cool thing to happen, but nobody past middle school would think that's cool. Nobody would be like, wow, that's so cool for you, bro. Like, I don't know. It's just kind of gross and creepy to me. And then it doubles down on that too, with Adam Sandler and the teacher still being in love with each other like 20 or 30 years later, whenever the stupid, awful ass script takes place. It's like mind-boggling that anybody wrote this and didn't immediately like rewrite it. Like in my brain, if I thought of that idea, I might chuckle if I was like in high school, and then I'd go, okay, but nobody needs to know about this fantasy. Like it's just like a creepy, horny teenager's fantasy, but it's a major motion picture starring Adam Sandler. How did this get made? But the main story happens, of course, after all of this. That's just the catalyst. That's just what sets the story in motion. So Adam Sandler grows up to be a complete douchebag, and then Adam Sandler in the movie grows up to be a complete douchebag and blows all of his money on like prostitutes and cocaine and heroin and hard drugs and more things I'm making up in my head canon. And so he's broke. But then all of a sudden he needs to get $50,000 to pay back taxes.
So what the IRS say?
You haven't paid taxes since '94, Donnie.
I'm going to prison if I don't get 43 lives.
So the guy, this TV personality says, get the kid and go to the prison and we'll reunite these three people and pay you 50 grand and you can pay off your back taxes. So the whole movie is Adam Sandler going to a wedding for his son and trying to coax the son into coming with him to get money, but in typical melodrama, sappy, feel-good movie Adam Sandler, even though it's rated R and it's about statutory they're still doing this sappy melodrama. He realizes that he actually likes his son and he doesn't want to subject him to this TV show personality. But of course, Andy Samberg finds out and freaks out, and then in the end they make up and blah 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 blah. You know where this is going. It's a dumpster fire. Not only is that the crux of the story, the stuff that's setting the story in motion, like the worst thing ever, but it's also just an awful story past that. The wedding stuff is abysmal. You can see what they're going for. Both of them are trying to find their way. Both of these characters need to grow up. That's essentially the story. It's like a coming-of-age story for both Adam Sandler, who is like an alcoholic, down on his luck, deadbeat, and his son, who is a stick in the mud. And they both need to kind of have an arc where they learn to have a happy middle. Andy Samberg needs to learn to let go, and Adam Sandler needs to learn to take responsibility. That's essentially their character arcs, and yet, by the end of it, neither of them do it. Adam Sandler is like, I'm gonna take responsibility, I'm gonna go to prison for my back taxes, I'm just gonna take it, and then you find out that he bet on a fat guy to win a marathon, and then the fat guy wins the marathon, and so he gets a bunch of money, and he doesn't have to pay for anything.
Dad, let me just give you the money.
No, I'm not gonna do that. It's time for Johnny Berger to take responsibility for his screw-ups. I made my bed. Now I gotta lie in it. Is this the fat guy who put the money on?
$20 at 8,000 to 1.
160 grand? Come on, you fat shit, move it!
Don't touch me.
Move it,
Don't
He made a bet, and then he won the bet. How about this? Have the fat guy lose, and Adam Sandler takes responsibility for his bullshit. Like, that is like, who wouldn't write it like that? But there's more. This movie just had to cram in every perverted teenage fantasy, because then I can't say his name because I'm so upset. Andy Samberg, I don't care about their characters' names because I don't want to give them that much credit for actually naming characters. I don't know what that meant, but Andy Samberg's character is marrying this girl who's this horrifically uptight wench, and everything that Andy Samberg does is wrong. And you're supposed to hate her. She's supposed to be the villain, even though painting her as the villain also feels gross. Like, you couldn't just have her, have her own side of the story to things. She just has to be like a horrific villain the whole time, okay? It's just sloppy writing. But she is having incest sex with her brother.
Ah! You your brother?
Oh my God!
For no reason. Why are we doing this? Why can't you just have the character of Andy Samberg realize that he needs to not marry this stick-in-the-mud lady? Like, that's a character arc. Just be like, okay, actually, we're not good for each other, and I was settling for you because I was worried that yada, yada, yada. I don't know. Do something else. But no, she has to have incest with her brother, who is a jazz dancer for no reason, and he has, like, military costumes for no reason. And then she tries to pay off Adam Sandler, who snuck into her hotel room, broke and entered, and tries to pay him off so that he won't tell Andy Samberg. But then he gets Vanilla Ice and they just tell him anyway, and he rips up the check as if that's a character arc. Oh, it sucks, dude.
Is this really happening?
This is happening.
There is so much wrong with this movie, I haven't even got to its sense of humor. And its sense of humor is abysmal. There are no jokes that are funny in this, and even saying that sounds like wrong because there just aren't jokes, really. It's just Adam Sandler like saying the F word and getting hit or punched or hit or punching somebody. Or a person that doesn't look like they would hit or punch you, hits or punches you, or someone that wouldn't swear, swears. That's like the humor. The humor is Adam Sandler and his cast of cohorts saying swear words. Because this is a teenage fantasy movie made by people in Hollywood that should know better.
Oh my God!
I'm a little hammered. I'm a little f***ing hammered. Big go, big man.
Went down on girls for a wicked long time because he was a giver.
Oh, I wish I could have met him.
That's my boy. How about I get you another beer, huh, Donnie boy?
20's my limit.
Where ya? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up?
Of course, it wouldn't be an Adam Sandler movie without an absolute heaping of sex jokes. Like when the grandma of somebody, I don't know who, I don't remember who, I don't care who, comes in and has sex with Adam Sandler. She like walks in his room and it's like, I have a bathing suit on, Adam, I'm ready for my close-up. And then Adam goes, oh yeah, I'm gonna do it with you now that you have a bathing suit on. And there's so many other jokes like that just make me want to jump off a bridge. Andy Samberg gets really like blackout drunk and starts doing it with her wedding dress. There's a lot of like masturbation jokes in this and cum jokes. It's just disgusting. It's just a gross movie that has absolutely no right to even exist. So why am I talking about it? Why am I bringing attention to it? You tell me. I don't know. I'm just a guy that watched it and wanted to vent some anger about it because wow, Adam. There's a scene when Adam Sandler, who's also doing this like absolutely ridiculous voice that his 8th grade self didn't have. Why are you doing that voice, Adam?
No, I can't do that. I'm sorry. I appreciate the offer.
There's a scene when Andy and Adam are getting drunk and Adam wants to put an earring into Andy's ear, and so he just like jams it in there and it gets all bloody, and that's the joke. He's like, Andy, I got this earring from your mom and it's been passed down from me to you now. And Andy's like, well, Brian, I don't have a piercing, Brian. I'm just gonna jam it in. I'm just gonna jam it into your ear, okay? I'm just gonna stick it in. And then he sticks it in, and Adam goes, ooh, ooh. I don't even know what I'm doing, man.